Hi, I am trying out a new program for 30 days and it has fun effects, so I am letting you enjoy them. And if I could watch the computer instead of the camera, I would be enjoying them too. I'm kind of a geek about technology and I think this kind of stuff is fun. So if you've watched some of my other videos, you know. But I can't assume that you would start at the beginning, so I guess I should explain that I knew a while back that I have been through so many things in my life so that I can not only have empathy for the people I run into that are going through the same kinds of things, but so that I can share my discoveries as I went through them, my aha moments, basically the light bulb going on over my head, and to be not an inspiration, but just an example of someone that's gotten through. And I was plopped into a Facebook group as the new admin about 3 years ago so that I would be exposed to a lot of the people that would need to hear that kind of thing. And then recently got the guidance that it was time to take it to YouTube. Now, being in front of the camera is not my thing, and honestly, it's not that fun on some of these things to be as vulnerable as I need to be to do what Spirit has directed me to do. You know, you have to put your pride aside, and you have to basically be willing to wear your underwear on the outside. And for a middle-aged broad like me, that has kind of been one to fade into the woodwork for most of my life. I mean, often been invisible, really. This is not a natural place for me to be at all. But I am grateful for the opportunities, and I'm here to share one of those aha moments today. Now, the information came yesterday, and the processing was yesterday, and it floored me. And for some reason, I thought I'm supposed to sit down in front of the camera and share about this with all my vulnerability hanging out, you know, red eyes. And it was at 2 in the morning I did my first attempt. 3 in the morning I did my second attempt. Thank God my common sense took over and I could see, no, this wasn't the way to do it. So today I am more fresh and I have a bit of a sense of humor today because I have a confession. I had been making some cookies with herbs. It just took a couple little bites of edges that fell off, so I may be slightly affected by the herbs, but just slightly. And so my aha moment has to have a little bit of a lead-in, because if you haven't watched any of the other videos, you don't know that I had a couple brain surgeries in 2012. And it was only after that that some strange things started happening, and I realized that I had psychic gifts eventually. But it took a long while, maybe 2 years before it fully sank in. And I will tell you, the funny thing is, about a week after I came home from the hospital, I started hearing music in my head. When there was white noise, so like a space heater or the bathroom fan. and the volume eventually increased. And I think midsummer of 2014, I finally made the connection that the songs I was getting contained clues. And this is when I first figured out this wasn't something in the way of damage to my brain, because I asked for a hearing test when I first started hearing the music, that this was something else. And so it was a process for me, a discovery, and it was for someone that had never had the slightest bit of interest in the metaphysical. When my husband at the time and my child would be watching paranormal programs on the TV, I was like beeline through the living room, never had any interest in any of this. So I come late to my gifts. And I am happy to say that the songs, being psychic input, have continued, because that is how this particular aha moment came to be. So the title of this is going to be something about why rational people make irrational personal choices. I may be a little bit quirky at this stage, but I am of reasonable intelligence, and I think most people would say I am level-headed. But there is a particular subject that came up that pointed out I have been making very irrational choices about it. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I hope you can see that I'm fairly rational. Maybe you can't. I don't know. And let me just say, if someone would say they're grateful for brain surgeries, it would be me, because the knowledge of my gifts, the discovering as things added to my skills, the building of them, the ability now to run a group where I help other people realize they're not cuckoo and they're not imagining things. All of this, I think, is the point I went through the brain surgeries. And I am grateful beyond belief. I don't know how I lived without them for so many decades. And I couldn't function without them now. So, am I enthusiastic? Yes, I am. I am so grateful. Now, enough of that rambling, right? I guess maybe those 2 little bites did affect me a little, because I'm feeling fairly happy. But that's a good thing in my book. So about a week ago, I started having incredible stomach pains. I'm talking bent over to walk, because if I stood up it hurt so bad. I'm talking debating whether I should go to an ER, that kind of thing. And I was thinking maybe it was some odd thing, because I do tend to come up with odd medical conditions, lucky me. But I eventually made the connection that it has to do with what I eat, and that I'm going to have to make modifications. Now, that would seem like not a big deal to most people. Most people, as they get older, are going to make those modifications anyway. But here are the irrational personal choices. I have been adamant about, the only way to describe it is not making healthy choices for myself. I, love energy drinks. I don't eat excessive red meat, but although a salad might be a choice because it sounds good, I have nothing against meat. And here's the big confession, I guess. I smoke cigarettes. With all the health problems that I ended up with after those surgeries, with the precarious nature of, my brain after being sawed into a couple times, it makes literally no sense. And I have realized this. I have gone to many a doctor who has said, "You're still smoking? Why? Why would you be doing that?" And I haven't had a good explanation, really, until I talked to one doctor who said, "Why haven't you quit smoking? I really don't understand. I know that you're a smart woman and you know the risks and how they're increased in you." And finally the answer came. And I looked him in the eyes and I said, "Because that would prolong my life." And you've heard the expression about jaw dropping. It really does happen. And he couldn't respond. He didn't know how to respond. And I knew as it came out of my mouth it was the absolute truth. I not only have not been making healthy choices, but I have been making choices that are detrimental. Excuse me, I've got a cough. Now, I suppose I could explain all sorts of things by rewiring, not just the good things of gifts appearing, but maybe skewed thinking. I do know that I ended up with adrenal failure, and so stress will hit me quite hard and much more than a normal person. But this is a whole different animal, and I really haven't had an explanation for it. What I do know is that it makes me seem very ungrateful for this vessel I have been given to live this life, and I have been aware of that. And I am not an ungrateful person. I say thank you to the universe for probably things that others would think are silly. I make a point of it. Gratitude is very important, and yet, on probably what is the most important gift given to someone, I'm not showing it gratitude. I'm treating my body like crap. So there is the lead-in. I realize it's the food I'm eating and that I'm going to have to change my pattern now of really being reckless and making bad choices, something I have held tight to without understanding why, and I became outraged at the universe because they took it out of my hands. I'm suddenly ranting and raving at the universe about, what about free will? Why is this not my choice? Why is this not my choice? Why can I not exercise my free will? Literally, I was indignant about this because you've heard me say it's all about free will, baby. Hold on just a second. I should have turned the speakers off. So let me pause. Okay, I'm back. I don't know why I don't have a checklist. I need to turn off my speakers before I start, or you hear all the little dings, and sometimes I'm fairly popular, I guess. Okay, so I am indignant that my free will has been taken away, even though intellectually, logically, I know that I have been making poor choices. And, I mean, to say pissed off, it's just too mild. I even posted on Facebook about it. I was so indignant, I had to share it with my friends, and I'm sure anyone that read that post was like, what is her problem? She should have been making these changes anyway. And again, I'm fairly rational. They would know me as that. I'm sure this particular thing has confused many people. Now, to the song clue. I'm still adjusting to the idea that I didn't get to make my own choices, and last night I started hearing a song in my head from Annie. You know, cute little red-haired orphan. It's a song called Maybe, and it's about her speculating what her biological parents would be doing in their home, and at the end I think it's her hope that maybe they will come to get her. My clue to go back to my adoption, which was basically day one, taken from the arms of my biological mother, given to a social worker, then taken to my new adoptive parents, is how it worked in my era. No open adoption. And so that was Spirit pointing me to the wound that is behind why I'm so irrational about my health. Then, with another of my gifts, I get the words, not worth the effort. Now, I'm not sure how it works that a newborn baby, you know, in her soul comes to the conclusion that she is not worth the effort, and that's why she's being given away. It's not anything that ever crossed my mind in conscious thinking. I mean, I was told that at 2 I would run around and tell people I was adopted. I always knew it, and I never went through a time where I questioned that it would have been given up because my biological parents wanted a better life for me than they could give me. And honestly, I just always assumed it was teenagers, and, you know, my mother got knocked up and there was no choice. So, it was quite interesting to know that somehow I had tucked away in my unconscious awareness that I was given away because I was not worth the effort. And of course, if you are metaphysical, you know about the law of attraction. Actually, it's so popular now, you don't have to be metaphysical. What you send out to the universe, you get more of. Now, I haven't consciously been sending it out, but apparently I've been sending it out because I don't attract people normally, as I think about it, who do think I'm worth the effort. You know, I have in large part been the one that invests more in almost anything. And I haven't really questioned up until recently why I have been willing to accept that. I just have. And I suppose most smart people would have thought that maybe there was something a little odd about that, but I didn't question it. I mean, you know, just as a courteous person, I show interest in people by asking them about what's happening in their lives. Rarely does anyone check in with me to ask me. Never crossed my mind that that was odd. You know, supporting people in what they're doing, being enthusiastic, making them aware that, you know, I'm proud of them, happy for them. That's always been just something I do. And it just never crossed my mind that I don't get a return of that kind of thing. And it is explained by me somewhere in my being, thinking, well, of course, that's the way it should be, because I'm not worth the effort. And recently, I mean, I've been doing a lot of growing in the last year. Like Speed of Light, the intensive track. Recently, I have wondered a little bit, you know, why doesn't this person ever ask about what's going on in my life? Why is it always me asking them? You know, I do help a lot of people. It's just what I do. And, you know, I'm always amazing when I am working with them and helping them. And then they just kind of fade off into the sunset when they've got their shit together. And I have wondered about that, you know, how can I be so disposable? I have started to wonder why at times I am attracted to somebody and, you know, they're on it. They are making it clear that they're interested, and then it just goes away. I have wondered about that kind of thing, but it didn't cross my mind that there might be this underlying thought of, I'm not worth the effort. Of course, that's what's going to happen. You know, it's like things come to you when you're ready to recognize them, I guess. And with that clue, it explained so many things about my reaction to not wanting to make healthy choices. I've been feeling that I myself am not going to put an effort in to my health. I mean, there's my signal to the universe. If I don't give a shit about myself, send me people that don't give a shit about me either, you know? That's really how it works. Now, like I said at the beginning, it's not all that comfortable to be this vulnerable. But you saw that I am so grateful for my gifts, and I am at the point where I can get clear guidance about what is wished of me. And I'm willing to do this if just one person comes by and watches this video and says, oh, I haven't understood myself either. I haven't understood why I haven't expected more for myself, or why I haven't done more for myself. That makes it all worth it. That's why I am doing this. I think one person matters. And I don't know that there's a lot for other people to get out of this if they aren't that one person, except Maybe you have someone in your life that just confused the hell out of you by the choices they are making about themselves, health or otherwise. Maybe you've been shaking your head about someone you care about because it doesn't make sense, and you're thinking, but normally they're so rational. Normally they make their choices in a wise manner. Why is it different in this one category? So in that way, possibly there will be something for the others that are watching, because it's damn confusing to me, has been, until the light bulb came on last night. And maybe there's someone in your life where the light bulb over your head is at least saying, maybe there's something to explore in conversation. Maybe there's a wound in this person's background, in their childhood, that explains this. And maybe through that conversation, maybe through that discovery, things could be uncovered so that they could heal also. Because honestly, I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I mean, I do know that I have to do something, because I don't want to be going through my days doubled over in pain. So I'm going to have to do something, but I haven't gone that far yet, because although, I've had my conversation, okay, I get the point, I'm sorry about this, I'm still fighting it a little, and, always a mistake. What we resist persists. But I did do one positive thing for myself, which I see as a good sign. This is a heart chakra candle, Reiki infused, and I've had it for probably 2 years. I have never lit it until now. And obviously I probably have some heart chakra work to do. So to me, this is a good sign that maybe I'm starting to think I am worth the effort. See, I tend to think that if we at least have the neon sign with the big arrow pointing at what's going on, even if we may not currently have the tools to deal with them, at least it brings up that conscious awareness. And so if I'm reaching into the cupboard this weekend for something that is not all that healthy, at least now I'm going, oh, now, hold on. I wouldn't have thought a second about what I was grabbing before, but now I'm thinking, do I want that pain? Not really. And okay, yeah, I get it. Thanks for the nag. It's something. I guess mainly the point I wanted to make is that, we make assumptions that someone is cavalier about things we know they should be grateful for. I'm sure people have wondered how me, this normally grateful person, could not be treasuring the vessel. But you can't make assumptions. And maybe there is some digging to be done. If you really care about someone, have them in your immediate life. Don't assume that there can't be a valid reason that not even they know about. Assumptions. Remember that saying? Don't assume you make an ass out of you and me. And it kind of works that way. That's really all I wanted to share. That was my light bulb moment. I am hoping someday Spirit will bring by the right person so they can have their aha moment, or there will be others that realize they have someone they care about in their life who is also normally rational but makes irrational personal choices. I understand now that I have cooled off, that I have work to do, and that the way I've been treating my body was leading me to a place I was not going to be able to do that work. Spirit knows how much I believe in being of service. And, sometimes they have to take the reins and yank you around a little. So I may go kicking and screaming, but I will go in the direction I'm being led, which is to realize that I am worth the effort. And I'm hoping that as I work on that, show myself that I'm worth the effort, I will be attracting more people into my life that also think I am. That's how it works, right? That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.